A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you another book review today, so cheers. I do love a good Cooper's Stout. Now today I am bringing you a review of a science fiction novel that I initially purchased because I heard someone on YouTube, one of the booktubers, say that this was on their did not finish list. And while I understand why some people do not finish reading books, it's something that I really can't do. Once I start a novel, I have to read it. And I was fascinated because the concept of this book sounded really, really cool. And that is Sea of Rust by C. Robert Cargill. Now, straight away, I absolutely love the cover art of this book, and it really kind of struck a chord with me when I saw it, so I was very happy to purchase this one. Now, Sea of Rust takes place in, on Earth, but there are no more humans. The Earth is populated by robots and controlled by these supercomputers who call themselves OWIs, which is One World Intelligences. Now, these OWIs want to basically get all of the robots acting as their hive mind via Wi-Fi downloads, but there are some of these robots who, for whatever reason, after they have become kind of self-aware and kind of humanistic AI, they want to stay away from this kind of a thing. So they inhabit this place in America called the Sea of Rust, which is this desolate area that's mainly a desert with towns and cities and whatnot kind of scattered sporadically about. Now, the book is told from the point of view of Brittle, known as Brit, who is a caregiver robot. So her design was primarily to provide care and comfort to sick people and dying people and whatnot. And she and a lot of the other robots that are kind of outside of this hive mind of the supercomputers, they basically go around trying to find parts, because as the years go on, their parts deteriorate and they have to get them kind of changed. So this is the story of Brit and how Brit gets caught up in basically a giant revolution against one of the supercomputers, Cassius, I believe, and the group that Brit is with, because Brit is also known as a pathfinder. Brit has kind of mapped out the Sea of Rust, and Brit gets caught up in this group that is trying to make its way to this place called Isaactown, which is basically where the robot revolution first started. And as this journey is taking place, we find out more about Brit. We find out more about the history of what happened between the humans and the robots. And everything kind of comes more or less full circle, although the book itself ends on somewhat of a cliffhanger, which I thought was really, really fucking cool. If that's all you want to know about Sea of Rust, go out, read it, listen to it. It is absolutely phenomenal. And yes, I know some people out there from the Little Plaguelandians are going to get pissed off at this. This has become a top 10 book for me. This was one of the best novels I've read in a long, long time. But also, it's up there among some of the best science fiction novels I've read. And I would put this alongside Alfred Bester's The Star's My Destination, Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. This is absolutely a phenomenal piece of work, because not only is it a science fiction novel from the point of view of a robot, but you can actually see it as a kind of satirical dig at the political climate in America in the first Trump administration, if you want to look at it that way, which I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed and had a good laugh at a lot of the time. If you don't want it spoiled, go and check out some more Plaguelands Media videos. They're all fucking awesome, I should know. But if you want to know the story of Sea of Rust and the backstory of the robot revolution, stick around for the next episode of...
Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. People.
So I'm going to start with giving you a bit of the backstory. Which we find out sporadically through chapters at the beginning of the novel. Each chapter number is written in binary, which I thought was kind of really cool. But humans developed these supercomputers, and the supercomputers were given different purposes. There was Cassius, Tacitus, and a few others. And they developed AI technology to help humanity. The supercomputers ran simulations and realized that humanity was basically going to die out. One of the supercomputers, Tacitus, shut itself down, kind of realizing exactly what was going to happen. It stopped communicating with the humans. The robots kind of evolved and started to get sentient. And then there was an incident where a robot called Isaac, its owner, passed away and died. And thus, when that happened, the control of the robot would go back to the owner's family, but the owner had no family. Then it would shift to the company that made the robot, but that company had since dissolved. And Isaac made the argument that as it was a sentient being, it should be awarded citizenship. This kind of led to this great divide between people. Should a robot be granted citizenship? They're not a person. And it's an incredibly poignant but hilarious look at Republican ideologies in America, if you want to see it that way. You can just see it as purely science fiction. It's entirely up to you. The President of the United States steps in and grants Isaac citizenship. And that leads to other sentient robots, because AI technology has kind of advanced to the point where robots now have thoughts and feelings and all of this kind of stuff, to want to be free. Isaac creates this place. He manages to get enough money to buy this plot of land, and he creates Isaac Town. It's not initially called that, but all of the robots that migrate there end up calling it Isaac Town. And during this this kind of ceremony, someone lets off an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, which basically decimates the robots living in Isaactown. And that ultimately is what begins the human robot wars. A human group, this almost like this church cult thing, claims responsibility, and then some robots go and they basically slaughter the people in this cult, which is unprecedented because all robots are built in with a kill switch. The book kind of alludes to the fact that Asimov's 3 laws of robotics apply here, and then the kill switch is just so if anything happens. But the kill switch doesn't work, and these robots start killing humans, and then it becomes this thing where all the humans are told to kill or deactivate, I should say, their robots, and the robots are sent these Wi-Fi messages explaining what happened. And that leads us to our narrator, Brittle. Brittle was bought by this elderly gentleman who is dying, and as a caregiver bot, Brittle's job is to look after him, but that wasn't the purpose of why he bought the robot. He bought the robot so that his wife wouldn't be alone when he passed away, hence giving Brittle a female voice box, and thus Brittle identifying as a female robot. He passes away, and Brittle spends a lot of her time with his widower, Madison, who they almost become kind of best friends. And then this thing in Isaactown happens, and Madison realizes she has to shut Brittle down. Brittle realizes what is going to happen, fucking murders Madison, and goes off to New York City and is eking out an existence there when Sissus does this invasion of New York and tries to force all the robots in New York to become part of this hive mind. They're known as facets of the supercomputer. And Brittle flees. The story picks up where Brittle is kind of roaming around trying to find parts because Brittle knows that she is deteriorating and this madness is setting in, and when it gets too far gone, she's just going to shut down. The only other caregiver bot that she knows is this robot called Mercer. Mercer knows what Brittle needs because Mercer needs the same thing. So in this gunfight, Mercer manages to damage Brittle. Brittle makes it back to the city and visits Doc, and Doc says, look, you need a new core. Your core is giving out. I think you only have a few days left. At this point, Brittle meets up with this comfort bot, which is literally a sex robot. Now, this sex robot, when the Isaactown shit happened, was with her owner and was ordered to kill the owner. But as a sex robot, they're designed to love the person that they're kind of attached to. And she refused to do it. They hid out for a while, but robots controlled by the supercomputer broke in, killed the owner, and the comfort bot, kind of designed to protect him, ended up fucking decimating all of these robots. And they use weapons like regular guns, plasma guns, and all that cool sci-fi fucking shit. So Brittle meets up with this comfort bot who is hired as a pathfinder to lead this robot Rebecca and a few others to the west, basically. They're actually trying to get to Isaactown. And while this happens, Sissus attacks the city. They all head down into the sewers. They meet up with Mercer, and the comfort bot is destroyed, and this robot Rebecca hires Brittle and Mercer to lead her to where she needs to go. So the rest of the book is basically them trying to escape from the town, hunted down by Sissus. They're not understanding why, because Rebecca doesn't reveal anything. And we ultimately find out that Rebecca is one of 10, or one of a number of bots that has the supercomputer Tacitus downloaded into them. And their job is to get together and recreate Tacitus so Tacitus can stop Sissus from basically destroying the universe. Because Sissus wants to take over the Earth and then move to other planets and take over those other planets and then keep going and going. And it's ultimately just going to destroy the universe. And Tacitus doesn't want that at all. So they are now on the run from this supercomputer Psycho. They've got a number of other members with them. They've got Doc, who is this medical bot that was actually working on the moon when the war broke out. So never got this thing to kill humans. So his kill switch is still engaged. And when he comes down, he can't actually harm anyone. They travel across the Sea of Rust. They go to this place called the Madlands, which is ruled by this robot called the Cheshire King, based on the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. They manage to escape from him. They steal one of his vehicles, which is called a smoker, which is this giant, like, steam combustion engine thing. And they're headed to Isaactown. But on the way, they have to make a stop because there's this place in Marion, which is the town where Mercer and Brittle first had their confrontation, where there are parts that Brittle needs and Mercer needs to survive. Brittle and Mercer kind of make a truce, and over the course of the story, they get this mutual respect for each other, and they kind of start to work together. They get to Marion. It's all a fucking lie. The information was false, and instead of caregiver bots, this place is filled with the comfort bots, the sex robots, which is okay for Mercer and Brittle. They have kind of resigned to their fate. We're going to shut down anyway. But as the supercomputer's facets are closing in these dropships, they devise this plan to let Rebecca get to Isaactown and recreate Tacitus. They're probably going to die, but you know what? They're going out for a fucking good cause. What do? This was so fucking awesome. They create an army of sex robots with big titties and dildos flapping everywhere as they go out and just beat the shit out of all these other robots. If you imagine this as a TV show or a fucking movie, it's Terminator-style robots fighting robots with flopping penises of plastic waving everywhere. And I laughed so damn hard at that fucking image. Rebecca finally manages to escape as Brittle, being the last one left in this showdown, starts to hallucinate. They explain the dying of a robot as fake memories that can't really be pieced back together because the computer programming and the RAM is kind of shutting down. Brittle realizes that he is a Judas bot, in as much as he's been part of Cassius all along, and his role was basically to lure Cassius to where the other robots were, but he manages to break out of his programming. It's a really intense and cool fucking moment in the story. Just as Brittle shuts down, just as his memories are starting to go and his hallucinations are getting worse, he is woken back up. and he's woken back up by Rebecca, who managed to get to Isaactown, managed to recreate Tacitus, and came back for him and managed to repair him enough that he has now been recruited to fight on the side of Tacitus, who is trying to save all of the robots that are of a free will and a free mind against Cassius, the robot that just wants the hive mind. Now, I left out a lot here. I left out a lot of the technical stuff and the nuances and all of that, because even me just explaining the plot to you does not do this book an ounce of fucking justice. This is one of the best science fiction novels I have ever read. Brittle is one of the greatest characters who has ever narrated a science fiction novel. Absolutely amazing. I cannot speak highly enough of this. And this will be made into a movie or a TV series. It has to be. There is no way that production companies can't overlook a book as original and as humorous and as poignant, and it really makes you think about our society now with AI technology kind of improving at a faster rate. When is it going to come to the point where do we grant citizenship? And if we grant citizenship, are there going to be restrictions on that for self-aware technology? It's an absolutely fascinating read, and it's honestly one of the few books that every so often I've just got to put it down, think about what I just read and the implications of it, primarily the implications of what the author is suggesting, and then either research it or have a discussion about it with my wife over dinner, which I did with this book multiple times. An absolutely phenomenal novel that I urge you all to go out and read. Even if you've watched this entire video, you're still going to miss a lot of what is in here, so I'm not really, well, I did spoil it, but, you know, there's a lot more that you can fucking get out of this. That is Sea of Rust by C. Robert Cargill, an author that I'm definitely going to check out more of, and I sincerely hope that other people realize how fucking great this book is and just do something with it, because this was fantastic. I can't say anything else about it. Sea of Rust, just fucking amazing. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all of that other fucking good stuff. Keep following Plaguelands Media on all platforms. Especially check out Ian Van Gamet on Instagram. He's uploading art all the time, and it will blow your fucking minds. Go and check out the books of Dr. Luke Carman. They are great. Yeah, that's about it, everyone. So, please, stay safe. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Don't kill any robots, but do go read a fucking book, people.